My name is Christopher Saunders, and this is the Connecticut Sports Talent Show, where we talk all things talents in Connecticut. And on tonight's show, I'm pleased to have one of the top players in the NVL, an underrated player, but I don't think he's going to be underrated any longer. The junior for St. Paul, Jamie Leggett. Jamie, it's great to be able to have you on, man.
Great to be on. Appreciate it.
I think first and foremost, before we get into obviously the basketball talk, how was your Christmas and also your New Year's?
It was great. Got to see all my family. Good to see them, my friends on New Year's. It was a good time. How about you?
It wasn't too bad. Obviously, holidays always go very quickly, but New Year's in particular, maybe it's because the last two New Year's, more so one and a half, depending on what you look at, have kind of just been a little off because of COVID. And
Yeah.
it felt like this year was, or New Year's Eve was very kind of like, I hope we don't have the same thing. And I just hope not. I hope not,
No,
man.
I know. I just want, it feels off. It still feels off in everything.
I agree with you on that one. But let's go to a little bit more positives. I mean, you're having a fantastic year, man, for the St. Paul Falcons. You're averaging 26 points per game, 5 assists, 11 rebounds. You're shooting 53% from the field goal. Just kind of take me into, I mean, have you been able, I mean, obviously you've had the last couple of days to kind of sit back for a second. Have you been able to reflect on what you've done so far? I mean, you scored 40 points against Wilby a couple nights ago.
I mean, obviously it's everything goes to my team, my coaches. My coaches put me in a spot to succeed. My teammates, everybody's rebounding, getting me the ball. We're all playing defense and we're winning. So that's all I'm really caring about.
Winning cures everything, as we
That's
know.
right.
Uh, but real quick, because of what St. Paul, I feel like, going into the season, the two teams that I put as, teams to watch for, and because obviously it was the Crosbys, the Holy Crosses, the Naugatucks were getting all the paper, all the love, but nobody was talking about the Kennedys and the St. Pauls. And I felt like they were the underdogs. I felt like they were the dark horses. And I
Mm.
told that to people from Game Time and anybody else that could listen to me. Not many people did listen to me, but now you're starting to see Kennedy is very talented. They've gone they beat Watertown pretty handily. You guys have been able to show your stuff, and you be a very good Wilby team as well. Um, what do you think thus far of the team now, as your next game will be Tuesday against Naugatuck?
I feel like we're confident. It's a culture at St. Paul. Like, we expect to win. There's standards, there's expectations. We all follow that. It all goes back to us just working hard in practice. Coach Phelps, going back to last year, it was play every game, every practice like it's your last. And I mean, going back to the dark horse thing, I feel like we're underrated. So I love it. I believe our coaching staff loves it. I feel like we kind of fuel off that, and we go 100% 24/7.
And you mentioned Coach Phelps, who's been around since forever. I mean, I'm shocked there isn't a statue already made for him in front of St. Paul for what he has done for the program. I mean, he drinks nails for breakfast. I mean, with
He
his
does.
cigarette. What has he meant to you, Jamie, as far as a basketball player? Because he is such a wealth of knowledge. And I had his son on, who is coaching at Post, and he spoke obviously very glowingly of his father, but gave him so much credit. What has he meant to you thus far in your basketball career?
I mean, all props go to him. I love the guy. He's great. We all love him. Starting from when I was a freshman, he took me in. I was young, I was little, kind of introduced me, to the culture, because it's culture at St. Paul. That's what it's called. That's how it is.
Mm-hmm.
And ever since then, he brought me up last year. Gets on me when he needs to. It's great. I love him. Everybody loves him.
Now, and you mentioned it quite a few times, what is this culture that you speak of at St. Paul?
It's just kind of, it's like unwritten. It's what we cut. It's the culture, St. Paul culture. It's how we walk around, how a basketball team is, coaches. It's the culture.
So, will I see this culture if I'm there on Tuesday? And obviously against Holy Cross, will I see the culture before the game?
Yeah, you will. You will. You'll see it.
I
Everybody
may
will.
have to ask somebody to point it out to me, be like, hey, is that the culture? No. Oh, okay. Is that the culture? That's funny, man. But hey, that's fantastic. I mean, you got to have something to be able to rally the troops and they kind of have them buy in. And it
Yep.
seems like thus far you have. And I mean, I know you mentioned last year too, and I had Will Barton, who was a fantastic player for you last year. You know, I know a couple of years ago, Arbuncle was a part of the program, and I could go on and on and on with so many talented basketball players.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
for what you have done thus far, has it kind of creeped into your mind like, if I keep this up, I could be, you know, when people mention Arbuncle and you know Will and you name it and Waters and so on and so forth, they could be mentioning my name next. Have you thought about that?
I mean, lately, no. Maybe I mean the only thing really on my mind right now is winning 8 games, making a run in the NVL tournament, making a run in the state tournament. But I mean, hopefully, eventually, I keep working hard, keep playing well, we keep winning games. Hopefully, I'll be in that conversation.
Now, with last year being such a taxing year, I think obviously because of COVID, but then just looking at the season, you know, you had games that were on, then off, then on. You had to wear masks. You didn't know as far as there was going to be a season until pretty much late into where you really couldn't get yourself into shape.
Yeah.
Uh, how tough was that for you? Because I know obviously, you know, you're a two sport athlete. You play basketball. You're a fantastic baseball player, and you have dreams to be able to play, hopefully both in college. Um, how tough was it for you to kind of just have to be like, oh, okay, we're starting in 3 days, go get them?
So I mean, last summer, last winter, sorta. I mean, I worked hard. We all worked hard. We knew at any point like we could have a game in 2 weeks. I mean, and it just goes back to like obviously we were all foaming at the mouth. We wanted to get in the gym with Coach Phelps. We wanted to work together as a team, and it's just it goes back to Coach Phelps. Every practice, every game, every time you saw us play every game, every practice like it's your last because it could be our last. You never know. Like last year we had a case right before we had one practice, and then we opened up. So and you don't know anything could happen.
Now, what has carried over from last year? I know some players are not there anymore. I know Tommy is not there, Lorenzetti, who I think, again, you speak of a player or players that is underrated. I felt like he never really was talked about, but he was putting up points every single night.
Oh yeah.
Obviously, Will kind of had to go berserk in order for people to say, oh, who's Will Barton? Oh, that's Will. Okay. Um, like as far as this, you know, coming season, uh, what was talked about amongst the group that returned and also Coach Phelps and the staff?
Um. At first it was like oh like I don't know like how are we gonna be next year, and I mean I kind of knew like if we play hard, we work, we could be pretty good, and I mean like you said we're underrated every year. Nobody knows about us every year. We got to go make a statement every year. So I mean we like being that dark horse. We like working every day. It fuels us. We love it.
Now, I don't know if you may know this, but I'll ask anyway, and then hopefully I could ask Phelps, you know, Coach Phelps this because I'd love to hear his comment. Why is it that St. Paul is such, you know, an underrated team where nobody really talks about them? Because the wins are there, the playoff appearances are there. Now, yes, the championships are not there. Maybe not the state wins are there by any means, but it's a consistent I almost wonder, is it because you guys are so consistent that people just take the program for granted in a sense? Does that make sense to you?
Yeah. I mean, like we said before, it's a Class S school, 500 kids barely. I mean, there's usually not a lot to work with, and I mean, Coach Phillips gets it done every year in, year out, gets the job done and wins. So,
Now, when the season right before it started, did he have a conversation with you about you being a key cog? And I mean, obviously, you're the top player right now. I mean, for what you have done. I mean, I don't know anybody else for St. Paul who put up 40 so far this season. Uh, you know, did he talk to you about like, hey, you are going to be, you know, we talked about football with Zeke Elliott, you know, about being the bell cow. Did he talk to you about being the bell cow for this team this year?
Not really. We don't like to point out like we're a nameless team. We're a positionless team.
Okay.
Everybody could do everything. Anybody could go off any night. That's how we like to think. But I mean, I think it's better that people don't know, who I am. So
I think it's better too that, like you said, how, nameless, like there isn't just one name. It's
right. I
everybody.
mean,
It's a team.
when people think St. Paul, we want to think, oh, those kids work. Those kids are on the ground for loose balls. Those kids play defense. I mean, we pride ourselves. It's standards. It's expectations there.
Now, talk to me about, because regardless if I'm there Tuesday or next month for Holy Cross, God willing, COVID stays away. I hope stays
Right.
away. Go away. Bad juju. Talk to me about the nest. What is the nest?
So the nest it's our student section, which lately, I mean, we've had four people per each player. So I mean, hopefully, I really hope our administration gets to a point where we could have, maybe 50% capacity, full capacity.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a special place, the nest. Everybody gets there, they gather around. I mean, basketball is basketball, baseball, it's life at St. Paul. I mean, it's how it is. It's the nest. I mean, they're always so supportive. Just really hope they could get out real soon. I think the community needs it.
Basketball is, obviously on the boys' side. The girls' side with Coach Monet, what he has done with.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I don't even need. Again, you talk about legends who've been around forever. Get a statue of him up there too. Just make 2 statues. Monet and Phelps. Seriously, I mean, what he is like. You talk about like high division talent. I mean, come on.
Oh yeah.
And then obviously baseball as well. Now, fun fact. I don't know if you knew this. Your baseball coach is my former coach way back in the day when he coached for Oakville Junior Legion.
Really?
Vic. Yep.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
I learned
Crazy.
so much from him. If you ever talk to him, just tell him, Saunders, Chris said hello. And, I like to this day, I have never been around a baseball coach who taught me as much as him. Like
He's a great dude. Yeah.
his baseball intellect, I mean, is just
Yep.
you know. But anywho, so back to obviously basketball. That's why we're here. When you scored 40 points against Wilby, because I know I'm going back and forth, but there's just a lot to talk about. To go back to the Wilby game, did you like? I know with some players who have produced and hit like 3 home runs in one game, 40 points, 50 points, whatever it is, 10 goals, 8 goals, whatever.
Yeah.
Some of them have told me they woke up and they just felt like it was going to be a good day. But in the case of baseball, as you would know, I remember I think it was David Cohn or David Wells who said, "Oh, my bullpen was terrible. I couldn't throw a strike." Goes into the game 2 hours later, perfect game. So for you, did you feel like, was that day just perfect for you? Talk to me about that.
I mean, a big thing for me is confidence. Like, you got to be confident when you're on the court. You got to be confident in really anything. If you think you're going to do bad, odds are you're not going to do great. So, I mean, every night I'm going in, I'm saying, got to win, got to get a win. We got to go get a win. That's all I'm really thinking about it. And I mean, we were hitting shots. I was hitting shots. We were playing defense. Everybody. I mean, we won, which is all I was really concerned about.
Did you even know that you were close to 40 or at 40 or at all?
I feel like kind of midway through the fourth quarter, I was like, oh, like I've been scoring. And then I came out with, I believe, 3 minutes left. And my good buddy Eric Suzio came over and he was like, oh, like I think you had 40 and close to a triple double. And I was like, oh, like, all right. Sounds good to me.
Jeez. And yeah, speaking of Suzio, I mean, for people who may not know, he's a massive person. He was, I think, tight end for St. Paul for football.
Yep.
And I remember saying on the broadcast, because we had them the first game against Kennedy. And I mean, the kid plays tough. He got hurt. And I don't know. I just hope he's doing okay. I mean, I'm glad he's playing because I was worried when he took a big hit.
No, yeah, that wasn't pretty.
But I remember saying on the broadcast, I was like, God, this kid's huge. He's like a
Oh,
baby
he's big.
blonde.
He's a big kid,
Yeah,
which I
massive
mean
kid.
plays into his basketball role too. I mean, he's a big body, works hard. We love him.
I mean, I wonder, does like Phelps ever tell him, be like, you know what, just go to the paint and sit there. We'll feed you all day.
Well, I mean, believe it or not, he's a great passer. He's a
Really?
great passer. He sees the floor, and I mean,
Okay.
he's a monster on the boards. So he knows his role, and he'll go score if he needs to too. So I mean, he's a culture guy. He's a Catholic guy.
So I better, okay, so I better mark him down for 10 points, 20 rebounds.
Oh man, I hope so.
Monster on the boards. I mean, come on. I mean, with his size, like it'll be
Oh yeah,
interesting because if you guys can play Naugatuck, I would like to see Suzio and Hinnett because you're talking about two massive human beings. I'd like to see that battle. I'd like to see that.
yeah. So would I. I mean, last year it was great. It was fun to play against them. I mean, we love the competition. We love it. We look
Mhm.
forward to the bigger games. So I mean, we'll see. I hope they match up well.
Also helps too because you're both in the Iron Division,
Right, big
which
games.
is a little bit more
Yeah,
competitive there, trying to
big
win the
games.
crown.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm hoping we can have that game, dude. I really do.
Oh, me too.
Jamie, it's
Excited.
great to be able to have you on. I just have one more question for you, really quick. And again, I appreciate for being able to come on. Um,
Thank you.
what what if any are the goal? I mean, was there any goals that you had going into this season? Have you hit any of your goals, or do you feel like you have not been able to just yet? Not because you haven't been tried to, but because you have such a high standard for yourself.
I mean, I wouldn't say really individual. I mean, we want to win 8 games. Uh, we want to win 8 games. We want to qualify, and I mean, we want to make the NVL tournament. We want to make a run the NVL tournament, and then we want to make a run the state tournament. I
Mhm.
mean, that's all we're really concerned about. It's all I'm really concerned about. We want to win and get better as a team.
Well, Jamie, I'm not concerned about you or the team or Coach Phelps or Eric or the rest of the staff because what you guys do, I admire it. I'm really looking forward to going to hopefully St. Paul on Tuesday and being able to see you, also your father, who I could talk about the Cowboys and we can talk junk
Yeah.
about them and how they're going to lose in the first round of the playoffs. And, it's just going to be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to it. And again, it
So
was
am
great
I.
to have you on, man.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. We appreciate it.
No problem. That'll wrap things up here in the Connecticut Sports Talent Show. So until next time, stay safe. CT stands for Connecticut Talent, and I'm out here to find them all. Enjoy the rest of your day, everybody, and be well.